Welcome to freeCodeCamp's Intermediate Algorithm Scripting section. This lesson, sum all numbers in a range. And it says, we'll pass you an array of two numbers. Return the sum of those two numbers and all numbers between them. The lowest number will not always come first. The helpful links they give us, math.max, math.min, and the array method reduce, which is probably the only thing I'll use. So first I'll erase this. Next I'll create a new array which will hold the numbers between the two. So we can do var new r is assigned an empty list. And we use our if condition to check if the first element is smaller or if the second element is smaller. So we can do if first element in the array is less than the second element in the array. We want to do this. For loop, initialize I to be the value of the first element. As long as I is less than or equal to the second element, we want to keep incrementing I. As long as that's happening, we want to push that value of I into our new array. So new r dot push the value of I. So if the first element is larger, that's where our else comes in. We want to use our for loop. This time we'll call it j and assign to it the first value again. And this time if j is greater than or equal to the second element, we want to decrement j this time and do the same thing, push that value into new array. And then once that's done, we want to create our total, which will be assigned the return value after we apply the reduce method to our new array. So new r dot reduce. If you guys don't know how reduce works yet, let me go to the page here. So reduce method applies a function against an accumulator and each element in the array from left to right to reduce it to a single value. So we have total, we have an array, we apply reduce to it, it has this function, and our accumulator at the end. The accumulator starts at 0. This is optional. If you do not use an accumulator, it will use the first element in the array. So in this example, it starts at 0. Then we do sum plus value, which would basically do 0 plus 0. Value will then hold 0. No, sum will then hold 0. Value will then be 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. So then value would be 2. Sum would have 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then 3 plus 3 would be 6. So we can do that in our challenge by doing the same thing actually. Function sum value. We just want it to return sum plus value. Once it goes through the whole new array and it adds together each of those values, it returns that single value and it will be inside of total, which means in the end of all this, all we need to do is return total. So this should now pass the tests. And as you guys can see, we did pass all our tests. We could play around with this. 1, 4 should return a number. It did. 1, 4 should return 10. And the logic is 1 and 4. So 1 is less than 4. So the first if runs, does this for loop. I is equal to 1. As long as 1 is less than 4, we keep going through the loop and push those values. So it pushes in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it stops, so those values would be inside of here. At the end, it just adds 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. And then backwards, if we had a 4 and a 1 here, it would still give us the same thing. But this time, once it goes here, it will not run because 4 is not less than 1. So it goes to our else, which then does the exact same thing pretty much. J is going to be 4. 4 is greater than 1. So it keeps going down, decrementing. So then we would get 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we do the same thing at the end. Just sum all those values up. So that was it for this lesson, sum all numbers in a range. Big takeaway is the reduce method. Comes in handy, very powerful, allows you to reduce an array to a single value. See you guys on the next one.